Welcome to your Season 20 Blaseball weather update. This is the Earlseason forecast. Warning: this video contains forbidden knowledge. Stop watching now if you do not wish to access hidden information. This video would not have been possible without the work of the Society for Internet Blaseball Research. The off-season is over and sun rises on Season 20. I hope you're all well rested and ready for another season of Blaseball. A whole 8 seasons after it was first seen, and flooding remains the most common weather for Blaseball matches. Black holes are in second, with Sun 2 close behind. The Magic will host the most blood rain games, and Houston will have both the most Sun 2 and the most flooding. Over on the East Coast, we see Boston hosting the most glitter games, New York the most coffee threes, Philadelphia the most feedback, and Miami the most salmon. Stay tuned for a team-by-team breakdown after a brief trip to the snack shop. Flooding is up on this time last season, whilst everything else has decreased. Thankfully for teams, eclipses are quite low, but for owners of Sundays, that is not quite such good news. The Lift opened Season 20 with 2 chances to use psychoacoustics, but nothing for their other mods. Their most common weathers will be Sun 2 and Black Hole. The Fridays have 1 home game for their feathered friends and 3 for flood pumps. Their most frequent weather overall will be flooding, and they are the only team to play in polarity twice during the Earlseason. The mechanics get 1 chance to use each of Psychoacoustics, Echo Chamber and LCD Sound System, but despite stocking up on coffee mods, they won't see any of that. Their most common weather is Black Hole, and they play the most games in it of any team. It would appear that the Garage's mods did not get the memo that Siesta is over, as they won't be able to use any of them in the Earlseason. Their highest weather will be flooding. The Lovers will have 1 birds game to increase the occupancy of their birdhouses, but they won't see any coffee. Their most frequent weather will be flooding. It's a good thing the Taco's weather increaser showed up for work, as they have no use for their other mods yet. It gives them 5 chances to use sundialed and glazed. Their most common weather will be flooding, and they'll also see a glitter game. The Magic get 1 chance to use heat magnet and 1 for solar panels. The rest of their mods may have got lost in the park. Their joint highest weathers will be Black Hole and flooding. The Sunbeams see 1 opportunity to use both Psychoacoustics and Echo Chamber, as well as 1 for solar panels. Their most common weather, like many others, will be flooding. The Jazz Hands production manager clearly sent out the season schedule way in advance, as every single modification at the pocket will be in use in the Earlseason, seeing 8 games at home for the mods. The Jazz Hands will celebrate this efficiency with a glitter game, but their most frequent weather will be flooding. The Stakes will be disappointed to see they don't play in coffee at all, and only in blood rain away during this Earlseason. Their highest weather will be Black Holes. The Spies get 6 chances to use flood pumps, 1 for LCD Sound System and 1 for birdhouses. Their joint highest weathers will be Sun 2 and flooding. The Wings see 4 opportunities to use flood pumps, 2 to use sweetener, and 2 games from their sun increaser, but no birds for the Wings this time. Their most common weather is flooding, and they will be the only team not to play during Black Hole weather this Earlseason. The Breathmints get 2 chances to use Psychoacoustics and Echo Chamber, whilst their increaser grants them 1 eclipse game. Overall, their highest weather is flooding, but they will play a polarity game. The Firefighters also get to use all of their mods, with 2 games for Echo Chamber and 1 for coffee. Their most frequent weather, though, will be flooding. The Worms are keeping it busy with 2 games for birdhouses, 2 for psychoacoustics, and 4 for flood pumps. They get 1 Black Hole game at home, but only 2 overall in which to use jam-packed. Their most common weather will be flooding. The Moist Talkers will be pleased to play 5 flooding games at home and 10 overall, giving plenty of use for high pressure, and making flooding their most common weather. They will also host a polarity game. The flowers are growing their chances as they get 3 games for psychoacoustics, 2 for solar panels, and 1 for birdhouses. Their most common weather is flooding, but they are the only team to play in glitter twice in the Earlseason. The millennials woke up ready to go in Season 20, seeing use for all of their modifications. 2 psychoacoustic games, 3 flood pump games, 4 solar panel games, and 2 sweetener games. Their most common weather is Sun 2, and they play the most games in it of any team. The Pies host 2 birds games, and see 1 more overall in which to catch up with their friends. Their most common weather is flooding, but they also play the most feedback games of any team. They will be the only team to play in both glitter and polarity. The Crabs play only 6 home games, but still get to use flood pumps twice and see 2 black holes. This makes 6 black holes overall, giving them many games in which to terrorize other teams. Their most common weather will be flooding. The She Thieves have 3 opportunities to use psychoacoustics, but see no coffee here. Their highest weather is flooding, but they will also play the most birds games of any team. The Georges will see 2 chances to try out their snazzy new event horizon in the Earlseason, and also check that their weather increaser works well. Their most common weather will be flooding. The Dalles get 1 game to use both psychoacoustics and LCD sound system, whilst their weather increases both kick in, giving them 2 games in which to use sweetener. Their most common weather is peanuts, and they play the most games in it of any team. They will also play in glitter. The Tigers get 1 home game each of salmon and blood rain, but they don't play in any eclipses, giving them no opportunities to use most of their mods. Instead, they will be quite damp, as their most frequent weather is flooding. Thanks for tuning into the weather. I'll be back tomorrow with your mid-season forecast, but until then, rejoice, play ball.